Hi, and welcome back. I just picked up this radio from a friend of mine that I talked to on the CB, and it's a Connex CX-4400 HP, and it's a 10-meter radio. And I was talking with him the other day, telling him I was, since I have my ham license now, I wanted to get a 10-meter radio. And he said that he had three old radios sitting around, and this one kind of caught my eye. It doesn't have sideband, which I really wanted, but he sold me all of this for $50, which I didn't think was too bad. So let's take a look at it and hook it up and see what happens. All right, if we go ahead and turn it on, and we look at our frequency counter, we can see we're on 26.965, which is channel 1 on the CB channel. Let's go to 40, which is 27.485, which is the frequency for channel 40 on the CB band. So my assumptions were correct. This has been modified for the 11 meter or CB band. Another problem I think we could be having that's causing the feedback on the talkback, I'm not sure if it's entirely true, but on my power settings here, when I key up the mic, I'm getting low at about 11 watts, mediums about 18 watts, and highs putting out over 20 watts, which is way too high and out of specifications according to the service manual. Now, granted, there's a heat sink in the back, but I don't think that's going to be too good for the radio to be putting out that much power. So we're going to need how to figure out to turn down the power on this. I pulled up the service manual here, and looking at it, I can see that VR14 and VR18, those two pots, are the ones we need to adjust the turn down the AM transmit power. All right, I opened the radio, I checked those two pots, and sure enough, they were cranked all the way. And I went ahead and made the adjustment and put it back to close as I can to the specifications in the service manual. Our next step, I've decided, is I'm going to also remove all the capacitors and replace them with some high quality capacitors. We removed the capacitors. There were 38 of them, which is actually quite a few, and I'm assuming that's because the radio has AM, FM, and some other features, so that probably would explain why there's more, and being a dual band radio. And on this particular radio, I really like the motherboard was marked clearly, so it's going to be really easy to put these back on. And I notice one of the components said Ranger, so I'm assuming that maybe this motherboard is maybe the same motherboard as in the Ranger radios. But I've ordered the caps and we're going to put them in. All right, I removed all the capacitors and the radio's working fine now. Everything started up fine. Well, I shouldn't say it started up fine. When I turned it on the first time, I heard a pop and smoke coming out of it, and I go, uh-oh, I put a capacitor in backwards. First time I've ever done that. Here's the capacitor. You can see the end is bulged out, and I had the poles I had the negative and positive reversed. Like I said, first time I ever did that, and wouldn't you know it, it was the biggest capacitor in there, and like I said, it made a loud pop and a lot of smoke came out of the radio. But went ahead and ordered another one, had to wait a week, put it in, turn the radio back on, and all is good. All right, I went on the internet because I wanted to check the mod that was done to it and see if we can undo it. So I saw originally what it was is removing a resistor and changing the jumpers on these two pins, on two sets of pins here. And when I looked at it, I saw that they had done it correctly here on the mod, but on this particular pin, they had the jumper incorrect. So I went ahead and put it to the specifications of the mod, and that brought the CB frequencies and brought me back a lot more of the 10 meter frequencies. Now, I'm going to have to, in a future date, because I do want this to be a fully 10 meter radio, because I'm assuming if I put it back to 10 meters, I'm going to have more frequencies than I do now. And I have no interest in having this for a CB radio. I have enough CB radios as it is. But with the mod in place, I thought I'd show you the frequencies I do have. So the yellow is the CB frequencies. So you can see, looking at the radio, I have the full range. I have all 40 channels on the CB now. And then the green is the 10 meter, the data portion of the band. And the blue is the phone portion or voice portion of the band. So you can see all the frequencies I have. Now the white here is an illegal part of the radio spectrum. Definitely can't use it as a CB operator or a ham operator. And I believe this is what they call the free band that some people use illegally. Now, like I said, I have no desire. I don't want to use these. They're illegal. And it's actually illegal to use this radio on the CB, as it's putting out about 15 watts. So my future plans are to put that resistor back and see if I can pick up some more of the 10 meter frequencies. All right, so we have the radio on now. We removed the frequency counter. And showing you on AM here, if we put on talkback, we no longer have distortion. Test 1, 2, 3, test 1, 2, 3. So we're good on the distortion. On this switch here, this is the echo board, so let's try that. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay, as you can see, I think you would use that if you want to annoy people. I definitely will never use that. And another feature I just found is a Roger beat. Test 1, 2, 3. Which I also probably won't use. I really don't have a need for that. But as you can see, the radio's working great now. I did a test with a radio check with someone I know across town. They said I was coming in loud and clear, no distortion. So I know it's transmitting well now. Also, if we look at the power now, I have the low power setting. If we key it up, let's put it on, we're on 10 watts. Getting around a watt on low. Medium, we're getting around 8 or 9 watts. And on high, we're getting about 18 watts. That's a little bit higher than it calls for, but if I set it down too much on the low, I'm only getting around half a watt. And I probably, like I said, I don't have the tools to adjust everything correctly, but I did the best I could do with what I have. And the radio appears to be working really well now. And like I said, my next step is going to try to turn it back to the factory specs and only have the 10 meter band. And I have a feeling that will probably open up some more frequencies for me. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.